What if you traveled back in time, when Atlantis still existed? Imagine opening your eyes and realizing you're no longer living in the modern world. There are no skyscrapers, no cars, no airplanes, and no technology that you recognize. Instead, you're standing on the edge of a breathtaking island surrounded by crystal-clear blue water. The air is fresh, the sky is perfectly clear, and in the distance stands the most magnificent city you've ever seen. This is Atlantis, a civilization so advanced that it has remained one of history's greatest mysteries for thousands of years. Some believe it was nothing more than a legend told by the Greek philosopher Plato. Others believe it was a real empire that disappeared beneath the ocean in a single catastrophic day. But what if the stories were true? What if you could travel back over 12,000 years and witness Atlantis before it vanished forever? As you walk toward the city, the first thing you notice is the incredible sense of order. Every road is perfectly clean. Beautiful gardens line wide streets, while canals filled with crystal-clear water weave throughout the city. Towering white buildings crowned with golden domes reflect the sunlight, making the entire island glow. Everything feels peaceful. There is no pollution, no smoke, and no chaos. Birds fly freely above magnificent temples, while fountains flow endlessly through elegant public squares. The people of Atlantis immediately capture your attention. They appear healthy, confident, and surprisingly welcoming. Instead of treating you like a stranger, they greet you with friendly smiles. Their clothing is beautifully crafted, their posture is calm, and every movement reflects discipline and education. As you explore further, you discover that knowledge is the foundation of Atlantis. Children learn mathematics, astronomy, engineering, philosophy, and medicine from an early age. Education is available to everyone, not just the wealthy. Scholars openly discuss ideas in public squares while engineers design remarkable buildings using precise geometric patterns. Soon you arrive at the city's central marketplace. Merchants display exotic fruits, precious gemstones, polished metals, and handcrafted tools unlike anything you've ever seen. Ships from distant lands quietly move through the canals, carrying valuable goods from across the ancient world. Atlantis is not isolated. It is the center of a thriving global civilization. Yet something even more astonishing is waiting for you. As the sun begins to set, enormous crystal towers scattered across the city suddenly begin glowing with a brilliant blue light. One by one, the streets become illuminated without fire or oil lamps. Massive fountains begin flowing more powerfully. Mechanical gates slowly open by themselves, and complex machines throughout the city quietly come to life. No smoke, no burning fuel, no visible source of power. Ancient legends often describe Atlantis as a civilization that mastered the power of crystals. While modern science has never found evidence to support these claims, stories passed down through generations describe technologies that seemed impossible for the ancient world. Whether these stories are fact or fiction, standing here makes you wonder if humanity once understood something that has since been forgotten. As you continue your journey, you enter an enormous library unlike anything you've ever imagined. Thousands of scrolls fill towering shelves that stretch toward an enormous domed ceiling. Detailed maps cover entire walls. Astronomers carefully record the movement of stars. Engineers preserve designs for incredible machines. Physicians document medicinal plants and surgical techniques. Every piece of knowledge is carefully protected for future generations. An elderly scholar notices your amazement and walks toward you with a warm smile. He tells you that wealth does not make a civilization great. Knowledge does. Power without wisdom eventually destroys itself. Only civilizations that continue learning can truly survive. His words seem simple, yet strangely timeless. For a moment, you begin wondering what modern society could have become if it had followed the same philosophy. Days pass as you explore Atlantis. The architecture is breathtaking. Massive bridges connect different parts of the city with perfect symmetry. Water flows through carefully engineered canals that provide transportation, irrigation, and drinking water all at once. Farmers produce abundant harvests using advanced irrigation systems. Physicians combine natural medicine with surprisingly sophisticated medical knowledge. Everything appears almost perfect. Almost. Because little by little, strange events begin to occur. Small earthquakes shake the ground. Animals suddenly abandon nearby forests. Fish disappear from the coastline. The ocean behaves unpredictably. Most citizens ignore these warning signs. After all, Atlantis has stood proudly for generations. Surely, such a powerful civilization could never fall. But the island's wisest scholars become deeply concerned. Scientists begin measuring unusual movements beneath the earth. Priests gather inside magnificent temples to discuss disturbing signs. Engineers repeatedly inspect the city's foundations, hoping to understand what is happening below the island. Then one evening, something impossible happens. The wind suddenly stops. The ocean becomes completely silent. Within moments, the sea begins pulling away from the shoreline. Ships that had floated peacefully only minutes before are left resting on exposed sand. Thousands of fish struggle helplessly across the wet seabed. The people stare in confusion. Experienced sailors know exactly what this means. Run. The ground begins shaking violently. Buildings tremble. Columns crack. The streets split apart beneath people's feet. Then, on the horizon, an enormous wall of water appears. It grows larger every second. A massive tsunami races toward Atlantis with unstoppable speed. Panic spreads across the city. Families desperately search for one another. Soldiers attempt to guide civilians toward higher ground. Engineers rush to activate every defensive system they have ever built. But nature is far more powerful than any civilization. The first wave crashes into the outer districts with unbelievable force. Stone bridges collapse instantly. Ships are thrown deep into the city. Towering buildings begin crumbling one after another. The beautiful canals overflow as streets disappear beneath raging water. Before anyone can recover, another earthquake strikes. The island itself begins breaking apart. Huge cracks open across the ground. Volcanoes erupt in the distance, filling the sky with ash and fire. Lightning flashes through black clouds while the ocean continues swallowing everything in its path. Temples collapse. Palaces vanish beneath enormous waves. The glowing crystal towers shatter into countless pieces before disappearing forever beneath the sea. Within only a few hours, one of the greatest civilizations ever imagined is completely gone. Where Atlantis once stood, only the endless Atlantic Ocean remains. Thousands of years pass. Kingdoms rise. Empires fall. Human civilization begins again. Yet the legend of Atlantis refuses to disappear. Why? Because no one truly knows what happened. The only detailed ancient account comes from the Greek philosopher Plato, who described Atlantis as a wealthy and powerful island nation that eventually became corrupted by greed. According to his story, the gods punished Atlantis, causing it to sink beneath the sea in a single day and night. Many historians believe Plato created Atlantis as a moral lesson rather than a historical record. Others believe the legend may have been inspired by the destruction of the ancient Minoan civilization after the massive volcanic eruption on Santorini. And some researchers remain convinced that somewhere beneath the Atlantic Ocean, the true ruins of Atlantis are still waiting to be discovered. Even today, advanced underwater technology continues exploring parts of the ocean that humans have never seen before. Every unusual underwater structure sparks new excitement. Every mysterious sonar image inspires new theories. Yet no discovery has ever provided undeniable proof. Perhaps Atlantis never existed. Or perhaps the ocean has simply done an extraordinary job of hiding its greatest secret. Now imagine one final possibility. What if tomorrow, scientists announced that they had finally discovered the unmistakable ruins of Atlantis beneath the ocean floor? Ancient streets, gigantic temples, unknown technology, an entire civilization frozen beneath the sea for thousands of years. Would history books need to be rewritten? Would everything we believe about human civilization suddenly change? Or would Atlantis remain exactly what it has always been? A timeless mystery that reminds us how little we truly know about our own past. Maybe the greatest lesson of Atlantis isn't whether it was real. Maybe it's that even the most advanced civilization can disappear if it becomes too confident in its own greatness. And perhaps, somewhere beneath the waves, history is still waiting for us to uncover its greatest secret.